What's up guys, welcome to another video, and today I will teach you how to make the parallax effect in Geometry Dash. So let's jump right into it. Now, the first thing I'm gonna do is put like these default blocks just like this, like nothing too complex. You can make it however you want. Just for the sake of it, I'm doing it like this. Now, the scale of these blocks are important, and you will see why later. But for now, let's just make them 2.0, like make their size 2.0. And we are gonna make this group 1. So we're gonna have group 1. And next thing you're gonna do is copy paste and scale it any amount you want. But of course, keep track of the scaling that you've done, because again, it's gonna be important later in the video. So that you're gonna put it on the layer behind, and we're gonna give it group 2. Do the same thing, move it one layer back, group 3, copy paste, one layer back, and group 4. So for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just gonna keep it at this amount. You can make it like infinite, like how much you want. But yeah, so we have our 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the second thing you're gonna make before we add the triggers are the collision blocks. That will be very important in the movement of these. So where are the collision blocks? They're right over here. So the first collision block that you're gonna add is block ID number 1, since it's the first collision block in the level. Also, you're gonna turn on dynamic block because block ID number 1 is gonna move left and right. And these blocks are actually gonna follow block 1. So we are gonna put 2 blocks on the side, on the left and right side of block ID number 1. And these are gonna be block ID number 2. But do not turn on dynamic block because these blocks will not move. And we're just gonna copy and paste this one. And we have this right here. Also, we're gonna give block ID number 1 a group that will be group 5. And one more important thing that I will explain later too is gonna be this object in the middle of block ID number 1, aka the original position of block ID number 1. You can put any object, I just like putting the X. So that is gonna be group 6. Now let's start with the movement. The first thing you're gonna do is just make the movement of group 5, which is block ID number 1. So group 5 is gonna move minus 1,000, for example, in 10 seconds. So you can see that it moves. Okay, but there's one problem though. You can see how it passes through number 2. So what we wanted to do is like move and then just go back. And when it touches block ID number 2, it just goes back to DX, aka group 6. So it's just gonna move and it's gonna come back. Same thing for the other side, but you will see later. So to make these blocks follow block ID number 1, we're gonna use the follow trigger. And this is where the scale of the blocks comes in handy. So target group is gonna be 1 and follow group 5. So it's gonna let's make it move exactly like the move trigger so that it's 10 seconds. So in here, you're gonna type in the scale of the group. Like the scale of group number 1 is 2.0 as mentioned earlier. So we're gonna make this 2.0. Now we're gonna copy paste this. Group 2, the group 2 was 1.9. So we're gonna put 1.9. Copy paste. Group 3, 1.8. And group 4, which was 1.7. Now we can see that it is actually following, which is amazing. And we can see a parallax effect, but as you can see, like it goes by so fast and it's kind of useless, you know. That's why we made this. Now to make this work, we are going to add a collision block trigger, and we want block ID 1 and block ID 2 in here. We're just gonna make the move trigger real quick. So when block ID 1 comes in touch with block ID 2, it's gonna go back to group 6, which is the X, and in 0 seconds, of course. And we are gonna use target because it's much more simple. So we wanted to move to group 6 in 0 seconds, and we are gonna make this group 7. Also, don't forget to turn on spawn, trigger, and multi-trigger because the collision block is gonna activate this trigger. That's why we need that on. So the collision block, let's get back to it, is gonna target ID. We're gonna put in 7, which is the ID of the move trigger. And we're gonna click activate group, and let's check that out. And we can see that it is working. And let's see how it looks down here. Exactly. You can see how it's unnoticeable. Like when you're in the level, it's gonna be unnoticeable how it's constantly going back. Now, one thing that I'm gonna do fast, I'm gonna add this. And now the cube is completely in the center. So you can see that it is following the player. Okay, so now why I made the one on the other side is because you can actually do this. For example, we're gonna change this one to minus 100, back in and out. Let's just do that in 2 seconds, and 100 in 2 seconds as well. And you can see that it should work. See? Okay, that is actually epic. Wait, let's try more, like 300. And oh, never mind, that is too fast. But yeah, so basically that is it, and you just made an epic parallax effect. So I just made kind of a cool detail with the pulse triggers, and those are gonna make the blocks pulse. And we can see the cool pulses. Okay, there's one more thing we're gonna do and test it out in the level, like we can see that it works perfectly. So yeah, you just made an epic parallax effect, and thank you so much for watching. As always, I'm really glad to help. If this was helpful, of course, I hope it was. But yeah, tell me in the comments if I should do more tutorials similar to this. But that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video/live stream. Bye!